Now, Chief Johnson is also facing mounting criticism from some law enforcement community members. They say he acted too quickly in firing Officer Brad Miller. Fox 4's Deanna Zoga continues our team coverage tonight with more on why they say the chief should have waited. Deanna.
Well, Heather, almost immediately we started hearing from some who represent police officers who question whether the chief acted in the interest of a full and fair investigation or whether he was responding to outcries from local protesters.
I bet you there are more officers more worried about getting into a shooting than getting killed. And that's the world we're in now.
Dallas Police Sergeant Mike Mata was a field training officer for 5 years. His perspective: the Arlington Police Chief's press conference 4 days after the shooting sent a message that officers have lost the benefit of the doubt.
He took somebody's life, and it needs to be investigated, but it needs to be investigated the same way every other citizen gets the right to be investigated. And that was circumvented by this chief, and that's unfortunate.
His view echoed by the Texas Municipal Police Association. The executive director told us by phone the chief's public firing seemed unfair.
If the officer is indicted and is going to be tried there in Tarrant County, now we have to wonder how many of those people have already heard the chief say, "I'm firing him because he did something wrong," even before the investigation is complete.
Brad Miller's attorney, John Snyder, in a statement writes, quote, "While Chief Johnson sits behind his desk and Monday morning quarterbacks an officer's actions when coming face to face with a violent felon, his biggest fears are getting a paper cut or losing his six-figure salary. Chief Johnson used 20/20 hindsight to protect his job and appease anti-police activists. Officer Miller made decisions in the heat of a violent confrontation to save his and other officers' lives. A 4-day investigation and media theatrics are not even close to due process. This decision, while politically expedient for Chief Johnson, is an insult to the rank and file officers who put their lives on the line every day." End quote. Chief Will Johnson does say the criminal investigation will take more time and more layers of review from the DA and a grand jury.
The grand jury is going to have to look
Former
at the
prosecutor
law
Toby Shook adds, just because an officer is fired does not necessarily mean he'll face criminal charges.
I don't think they can arrest him based that what the chief described was someone acting in self-defense. When you have a person who's been acting abnormally come at you in an aggressive manner and keep coming when you threaten them with a firearm and fire once, that person who's doing the firing is frightened for their life.
This officer, his whole life is done. He can never be another officer again. His name is splashed all over the internet. Now he's known as a teen killer. And we don't even know what really happened yet. 4 days into it, we're already terminating him.
Now, Chief Johnson said he fired Officer Brad Miller for confronting Christian Taylor alone, for not communicating with his training officer, and for not waiting until those officers set up a perimeter. But we did notice, Heather, the chief also said in his comments yesterday when he was explaining the firing that he did think that the officer was essentially firing in those moments in self-defense. Back to you.
All right, so Deanna, let me ask you, since the officer said that the chief's decision really just came too quickly, what do they want to see happen, or what would they recommend happen before that type of decision is made?
Yeah, because the chief made his decision based on essentially what was an administrative investigation, basing what he determined to be fault as far as the administrative side of things based on the officer's statements. But some say, wait for the autopsy results, look at the crime scene investigation results, consider where the bullets may have hit Taylor, essentially just saying wait for forensics to help paint a fuller picture, Heather, since officers did not have body cameras and there is no video of the actual shooting itself. Back to you.
Understood. All right. Deanna Zoga live tonight. Thank you.